head coach Mike Vrabel getting in the thick of a joint practice skirmish between the Pats and the Vikings. This is the second time this has happened, this training camp. D. Wood, what's going on with your former teammate there?
Vray's former player. He always liked mixing it up, but, the hell, I wouldn't be doing any of that.
Right? I mean,
I'm too old for all that. Like, I've never been one to jump into fights in the first place, and now you want me to do that at 50? No.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Vrabel, he just missed playing. Like, is that the whole thing? Like, he just wants to be. Maybe he misses fighting.
Yeah, that's probably it. Maybe.
All right, he was getting up close and personal, and that leads us to our next segment, which is called Up Close and Personnel. As the season gets, that's right. Now, come on, man, we're not messing around here. As the season gets closer to starting and rosters begin to form throughout camp, we want to take a look at a few teams and those rosters, and we have called the segment Up Close and Personnel. And we're going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to lay it out here for you. This is their starting offense as we imagine it, as we project it. They acquired 3 former Pro Bowlers this offseason, DK Metcalf, Jonnu Smith, and of course, Aaron Rodgers. Up front, you got a young group. 4 of the 5 projected starting linemen have been in the league for 2 years or less. And at tailback, let go of Najee Harris, who ran for 1,000 yards in each of the last 4 seasons, and elevated Jaylen Warren to the starting spot. So, Mike T., when you look at this, where are the potential trouble spots?
Yeah, guys, here's where I'm really concerned. Right side of the offensive line, Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, and Troy Fontenot, who only played in 1 game last year. Again, we know how good Aaron Rodgers is and how smart he is, all the check with knees. However, when you have so many young offensive linemen, it's a concern in terms of the optionality you'll have at the line of scrimmage. So again, no offseason program, not playing in the preseason. Arthur Smith is a great OC, but guys, 3 young offensive linemen really scares me with a 41-year-old quarterback.
What do you think? Is Aaron Rodgers set up to succeed with this group?
Yeah, I think he's going to be in better shape. It's not just the O-line, but I know we get a lot of attention to DK Metcalf because he was a big acquisition. But I actually think Jonnu Smith, he had an awesome year last year as a pass catcher for the Dolphins. Adding him to this offense, I think, is going to be really productive for Aaron Rodgers, an offense that I think wants to focus a lot on play action and effectively running the ball. So if things work out up front the way Mike T wants them to, they'll be able to run the ball. I think Jonnu Smith has a surprisingly good season, and I think this team is in good shape.
This is the alignment, the 2 tight ends. That's the way.
Yeah. I think that's the strength of this offense. To be honest with you, because you got a inline tight end in Pat Freiermuth, and I think like Jonnu Smith is a move guy that you can kind of like a joker guy that you can align all over the formation and create mismatches up in the coverage. But again, for me, Mike T just pointed out the right side. I'm talking the whole offensive line. That's going to be the key for this whole Pittsburgh operation. That group, they're young across the board, basically, and that group needs to come out of the gates firing. And take that 41-year-old quarterback.
They open up against the Jets because the NFL has an underrated sense of humor. We're going to look at the Buffalo Bills next, specifically their offensive skill position players around MVP Josh Allen. Everybody on your screen except for Joshua Palmer is returning from last season. The Bills just extended everybody and brought in very few new people. Each of their 3 leading pass catchers are back: Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, but neither of them got to 1,000 yards last year. So, is this enough? Is this enough for Josh Allen to get to the Super Bowl this year?
Absolutely. And here's what's fascinating to me, guys, right here. These 2 tight ends, especially Dalton Kincaid, someone they traded up for. When Coach Belichick was in his heyday, he drafted a lot of tight ends. And you look at the defensive head coach and Sean McDermott investing in these tight ends. And if Kincaid can do what he did in college, and what we're looking at here, his athleticism is why he's a first-round pick. Him and Keon Coleman have tremendous upside. And if these young guys can develop, they'll be fine at the skill player position. But I think they'll play a lot of 2 tight ends. And Coleman and Kincaid in particular are big athletic receivers.
You would. Who you got your eye on here that needs to take a step forward to make this work?
None of these people. None. Because you know what? To be honest with you, in the postseason, it wasn't this side of the ball that's let the Buffalo Bills down. It's the defensive side of the ball that's let them down. I got total confidence in number 17, Josh Allen, regardless of who the person is around him, to go ahead and get the job done. The defense got to be the one to slow teams down.
Yeah, I like James Cook. We paid him. I'm happy about that. We'll see if that production continues, which will allow other running backs maybe to get paid in the future. But also, Khalil Shakir. I know Keon Coleman is like the big-time draft pick that they expect to grow into a true number 1. But I think Khalil Shakir is the guy quick change direction on third down that can make life easier for Josh Allen. And when Josh Allen threatens with the run, here's the guy that I expect to be able to move with him and find the open spaces in the zones to make the defense pay no matter what they do.
Will this finally be the year for Josh Allen and the Bills? Over to the NFC now. We want to take a look at the Green Bay Packers and who they have surrounding Jordan Love on offense. Everyone on your screen except for first-round pick Matthew Golden is returning from last season. He was the Packers' first wideout picked in the first round since 2002. Reed, Kraft, Dobbs all had over 500 receiving yards, but also, as was the case with Buffalo, no pass catcher had 1,000 last season. This group, Mike T, set up Jordan Love to have his best season yet.
Without question. So going into the offseason, the concern with Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks, again, had production, but they led the league in drops as a unit. Matthew Golden, he was my number one receiver. He was the fastest receiver at the combine, but more importantly, he plays to that speed. He has great hands, a really good route runner. I was stunned he was still available when Green Bay took him. So hopefully, if those drops turn around, this should be an offense. We talked earlier about this division being a little bit in flux. This is a great group of skill player guys.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, no, I think Golden, him, just the way he was drafted was really cool.
That was awesome.
That was really fun. I'm excited for him and looking forward to him. But I think this team is really helped out by the ability to run the ball. So, of course, it always goes back to the O-line. We don't have them up here now, but Josh Jacobs will be the guy carrying the ball if he can take pressure off of the quarterback situation, which Jordan Love, I think we talk about him as if there's still a question mark on him because the seasons haven't ended the way that we wanted to, but you go back and look at what he was able to do last year. He was really, really good, even coming off of a Game 1 injury.
Week 1 injury and a couple of missed games. Yeah, no offensive line up here.
No,
the way,
yeah,
right?
This
you can do tight ends. They kind of like.
I don't know what it is, this O-line discrimination that we have on this show, but listen, I think when you talk about Green Bay, it's all about Jordan Love starting slow. But usually, the second half of the season, he plays as well as any quarterback in the National Football League, and the injury played a big part in that. So, listen, they got enough skill to match up with anyone in the National Football League, to be honest with you.
I think they got a real good chance. That is up close and personnel. We're now going to play a different game. This one's called Best and Worst Case Scenario. Mike T, what's the best case scenario this season for the San Francisco 49ers?
They win the division, Garage, and we all remember the greatness of Christian McCaffrey, who outside of Saquon Barkley may be the best all-around running back. So we've talked a lot about what they don't have. What they do have is they have a great player coming back, George Kittle, arguably the best tight end, and Ricky Pearsall, a first-round pick. So they have plenty of weapons, but it all starts with a healthy McCaffrey.
How about the Patriots? What's the worst case scenario for the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, last year, what they had last year would be another worst case scenario. They have a quarterback who showed promise, getting injured at the end of the season, and not a great record. The O-line is still a bit of an issue, but that defense is going to be great. And they have a new coach. So I think the best case scenario is a lot higher than that. Maybe they could sneak into the playoffs if Drake May plays out of his mind despite not having the O-line completely rectified yet and being relying a lot on that defense making plays. But I think that Mike Vrabel is going to turn things around there. I'm not sure if it's going to be his first year, though.
And if not, he's going to get in there and he's going to bust some heads, as we know from the video that started this block. What do we think? I mean, the Patriots are getting a little bit of buzz in terms of they could be improved this year. You buying into it, D. Wood?
I mean, I'm bullish on the Patriots, to be honest with you. I thought Drake May really acquitted himself quite well, considering, probably the worst offensive line in football last year, the lack of talent on the perimeter. I thought he played well, especially down the stretch. And so you saw they got basically 4/5 of their offensive line is new players, obviously bringing in Stephon Diggs. And I think the biggest addition for this Patriots team is Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator that's been so pivotal as far as the Patriots dynasty over that 20-year period. Now back in Foxborough.
Be interesting. Travion Henderson certainly looks like he's part of the solution, but outside of Stephon Diggs, it's a lot of question marks at receiver.
All right, let's go to the Minnesota Vikings now. I think this is a fascinating team. Obviously, they were in it for the 1 seed until the very end last year. Didn't get it, but switching quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy, we haven't seen him yet. D. Wood, what's the best case scenario this year for the Vikings?
Super Bowl. They have the personnel. They have coach, personnel. They have all of that to get to Santa Clara. They have that. On the flip side, again, it could be a team that, if the quarterback doesn't play as well as most of us anticipate, they could be on the outside looking in. So, I think the margin for error is, I think it's pretty wide for the Minnesota Vikings, only because they have such high infrastructure out there in Minnesota.
Yeah, if the best case is the Super Bowl, what's the worst case?
Missed the playoffs.
Yeah, that is a pretty wide margin.
It's a pretty wide margin, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds almost unbelievable, but it's real when you especially look at that division. There's assuming that the Bears live up to what their talent suggests and their coach projects for them. There's not a bad team in that division, which you can't say about just about any other division in the league.
You know, an underrated indice of the health of an organization is how well they evaluate their own. I would think that J.J. McCarthy is going to play really good, and that goes back to Kevin O'Connell's belief in the draft and the development of him.
They let Sam Darnold